Beach Hotel and Seven Seas Waters in Maarten are also proud partners of this program. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Now You Know, and I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you so much for joining me today. The race to Parliament is on. More and more, we are seeing alliances being formed. So yes, we are in campaign mode. New parties are being formed, and yes, there is much more to talk about out there. More and more you are hearing about possible alliances, wondering who is doing what and who is going where. Everybody has an opinion. So, to decipher and to break down what is really going on, I'm speaking today with host of Late Night with Andrew Dick, who is also my colleague here at TV15 News. Andrew has gotten a jump start on all of this on his nightly program, so we decided to quiz him and get him to talk, or walk us through rather, all of this. So Andrew, welcome. And
now you know.
Now you know, Andrew. We're starting very early.
Yes.
I just hope that by the end of it all, which is next January 2024, we won't be burnt out listening to all of the rhetoric and some of these candidates and also pundits.
Yeah. No, I don't agree with that. Why?
No?
Why I don't agree with that is because first of all, thank you for having me on the program.
Oh, good to have you here.
Always was a dream of mine, and I'm finally here. The reason why I say that is because we finally have what we call a good campaign season, because we've always been so used to snap elections, Valerie. Snap elections every 2 years,
Yeah, okay,
1
yeah,
year,
that's true,
1 year
that's
and a half year.
That's true.
We all of a sudden have to go into, okay, elections is in 6 months, get ready. And then all of a sudden parties have to register, and then you have a certain amount of time that they have to get they have to get signatures.
True.
They have to postulation day, and then that's where we get the amount of different candidates coming on, different programs, and trying to push their platform and their party platform at the same time. This is the first time we have a full term. So 3.5 years
got
later.
another full year of.
Yeah, but that's what it is. That's
Yeah,
what
but
the
sometimes we get
election
tired of
cycle
hearing the
is.
same thing over and over and over again, don't you?
Yeah, but after 100 and something candidates vying for 15 seats,
That's another thing.
it's
Yeah.
it's overcrowded. So of
Exactly.
course, everybody has something to say, and everybody wants to show their value. And for the life of me, I've never understood the dynamics of 120 or 130 persons going for 15 seats in Parliament. I mean, something is really good over there. But, it's the election season. I'm making sure that I give you a good analysis based on the what's happening. I have to be careful when I say now also, because there's a party called Now. I mean, first it was up, now.
Up now. Now up.
Now. Yeah. So you never know.
Talk to us about why you decided to hit the ground running beginning of the year. You just went all out, and if we want to hear anything political, just turn on your show.
Well, the reason why I started early is because, again, I said to myself, okay, now the silly season, I call the election season silly season on my show.
Silly season, okay.
Because that's when, they have the most to say. Throughout the years, we have to look for so much content. But during the election season, the content comes
anything goes,
automatically, right? Yeah, because everybody has
something to say.
Yeah, or something to contribute. So I say, okay, well, since they want to start the elections, the official day of elections is January 24th, 2024. That's the official day for elections.
Prime Minister still has
the Prime Minister, but since last year, the Prime Minister started to change the narrative when it comes to the elections and said that there might be a possibility of elections being earlier
Right.
because of December and because of the New Year's. Maybe they might do it in November, October. That's where the whole rumor started that, hey, maybe the government is going to fall. Why would she dissolve parliament and call early elections? Because the official day of elections is 2024, 24th. So everything is set for that day. But apparently, from what I hear, the Council of Ministers, the rest of the ministers did not agree and wanted to stay the full term of the 4 years so that it could be officially the longest running government that's ever been in St. Martin's history.
I am so happy about that. Andrew, you don't know, because I always said, if this government breaks, I won't be voting for the next election.
People share that frustration.
It's so frustrating because I felt that they didn't have any respect for us because we were forced then every year and a half to go to the voting polls.
We went to the elections after a disaster. I don't think there's anything that could surprise us anymore. Because after Irma, how? And we did it because
true.
we had no choice.
Let's talk about political parties. Ooh. Who stands a chance? Let's talk about the parties that are currently, in first.
Well, the Upper National Alliance seemed to got the formula of good cop, bad cop. That's how I
like that one. I like that one.
Why I say that is because, when one does good, the next one does bad. When the next one does bad, the next one does good. So there's this balance that upbrings and the National Alliance to the current constellation. Their problem is the lack of support in Parliament. And believe it or not, Val, at the end of the day, the independents in Parliament are the ones that's supporting this government. And because of that, we have a minority government. And the reason why I call it a minority government is up to now, we haven't seen the new coalition agreement, or at least the agreement of 8 signatures from the governor or from the Prime Minister stating that they have the full support of a majority support in Parliament. That is my first issue with this whole new coalition that's there. It's the first time that they haven't done so and presented at least a new coalition agreement, or at least something stating that, okay, well, we've lost we've lost members from our parties. However, these are the 8 people. This is a press conference, or this is a picture of all people who are supporting this government. Instead, and these are people who always, up in the National Alliance, have always preached transparency. You hear absolutely nothing. They just say, take our word for it. We have it. It's by the governor. Everything is good. We have the support. Take our word for it.
Do you think we will ever see it? They will ever produce it?
No.
No?
No. The reason why I say no is because if it's was done 4 or 5 months ago, they lost a member that went independent, and they still we have the support. Just take our word for it. Imagine where in the world you've ever heard that. Only in St. Martin. It's the reason why I say
Trump and his taxes.
Okay, well, we're giving him competition, but it's a decoration or something. But they are just going based on. We get support in Parliament. Sometimes we get support from the opposition. Sometimes we don't. But we have 8, and we need 8 minimum. And therefore, that's what we're ruling on now.
Can they be forced to produce it?
No.
Okay.
That's our issue.
So then we'll never see it then?
No.
Okay.
Not because something is customary means that it's law.
Yeah.
Because we're accustomed to seeing it. We are just now upset that we haven't seen it. And they're like, well, we don't have to. We're telling you we have it, and we should be able to take their word for it. But the problem is, if you make a bunch of untrue statements throughout the years, how do you want us to trust you? So therefore, you have to show us the proof. But it is what it is. So those 2 parties, the National Alliance and the UP, are the ones to stand to lose the most for this next upcoming elections because of the number of new parties that have been introduced
Really?
to, that has been introduced to the political atmosphere.
So we're not going to give them credit for at least staying together
No.
and producing something. I mean, something.
Oh,
Nothing got.
oh,
Let's
oh.
give a report card.
Yeah? You
How
want
did they
to
do?
that?
Yeah.
Because I was like, something, please tell me, Valerie, give me some information what they've done.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, because
Please be.
this is the first time that we've have a full term government since 10. We can only go based on our first experience, and our first experience, it's been like a bellyache. That's how I would say.
Yes.
It
But
goes
Andrew,
and comes.
But Andrew, let's be fair. This government who has stayed for the 4 years, we got Irma, and then we had COVID. So there wasn't exactly good. I mean, no.
How many
there
ministers
wasn't-
changed over the past 3.5 years?
They had a lot of
Valerie?
challenges for those two in the first place.
They have ministers that changed. Look at the different campaign promises that were made prior to the elections as to why they wanted to change or they wanted to stay in government and make a difference in St. Martin's development. Now, if you look at the road infrastructure, you look at the public health, you look at justice, you look at education, and then of course because we are in silly season, the two parties are going to separate themselves from each other and start to say, no, it was them. No, it was them. No,
Pointing
it was
fingers,
them.
yeah.
Even though they were together.
Together.
And I've seen it already, based on interviews that I'm hearing from the different candidates and the different parliamentarians of how they're now retracting from me to my party and what we stand for. Because again, St. Martin is looking to get a party that would have a full majority. That's what everybody wants. We've never had that.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Not since
but it's a
Claude
good dream
Watty
to
days.
have.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
gonna
good dream to have. And that's what. That's why we get these new parties. I call them splinter parties, and I know
Right.
some people don't like to hear that term because they would say a splinter party is basically it derives from a major party just to split the vote, but then still keep it together because the principles, the core principles of the persons involved are the same. So obviously, if they get in, they're the ones who are going to team up.
Right.
Another thing to look at also is that we should be going to 17 seats if we go until January. That is going to change the whole dynamics as far as forming government. They would have to include some smaller parties if the big parties don't get the majority. But you've seen the tide change when it comes to the political atmosphere with these new parties that are coming. And we're seeing also a change of guard. That's also interesting to look at, Valerie, because the older heads, are, giving their dynasty to, the children and their family members, and even, retiring. And then you have some that just are refusing to leave, and they would want to be carried up in a stretcher to their seat in Parliament because they are not going anywhere.
Or kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming.
Holding on to that seat, kicking and screaming.
No matter
They'll be
what.
pulling you.
And there's so much provisions in the law, Valerie, for them to just get a deputy here. And they would still be able to, take care of themselves and get themselves back together. There's a simple law that you can just take some time off, and then a deputy would be there in your stead. And then afterwards, you go back in when you're healthy and ready to go, or the deputy stays and they continue to, do the work of the party. But these politicians tend to just want to stay there no
They're holding
matter
on,
what.
boy, for dear life.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the NA, and let's talk about the UP.
My favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that's governing things right now. So let's talk about those. So what are your views
The
on
National
those things?
Alliance, for me, the National Alliance has weakened due to the fact of one, Christopher Emmanuel. On my show, I call him Savage Chris. He started his new political party, and he's picked up steam already, with, of course, having suspended Member of Parliament Claudius Boncampo also as his number two. That's a big thorn in the side of the National Alliance because Chris was being, you could say, almost tailored of being the next leader of the National Alliance based on his popularity and his way of doing politics. But the stance that he took in the beginning of this term was a surprise to many because it was like, okay, Chris really decided to not sign the coalition agreement even though he's part of the National Alliance. And then he gave them a chance still by waiting a while before he went independent. He was still part of the party.
True.
But when they didn't give him the type of attention or anything like that.
And the position that he really wanted.
That he really wanted, then it was like, since you guys don't want to join with nobody, you don't want to listen to me, let me just go independent. I'm gone. And he just stick to it, and he was the first independent that we had.
Yep.
But National Alliance still was like, okay, because they had 10 majority members, 10 members in Parliament supporting, and then from 10 to 9. It's not really a loss to them because you need 8. So they was like, okay.
Yeah, we're still comfortable.
We're still comfortable.
We're still in
because it was a strong 10. So for me, the National Alliance, and then also recently, you have your Ludmila Duncan also leaving. Didn't get a lot of votes the last time, so it's not a big loss, but still it's a loss. Usually the National Alliance is a party that doesn't really lose members. They stay there they have loyalty, But due to the change of leadership also, it's a different type of party. It's not the same party like when William Allen, MP William Allen was the leader. And now he's retiring also. You have his son coming in, but you can't base him on anything because at the end of the day, he has no votes. He got a record for us to go like,
no
okay.
Experience.
Yeah,
people don't know much about him.
Yeah. Even though he's community
but as a politician,
but as a politician, it's a different ball game.
Right.
And
you can run a business, but running for politics are two completely different.
It is. So the National Alliance face and also the infighting. Like if they think that we don't know that they're fighting, I think they must really have no respect for the population.
I think it's infighting all parties at this point.
Yes, definitely. Because everybody wants to be a leader. Nobody wants to be a follower anymore. Because look, during the last elections, Minister Duran.
Thank you. You read my mind.
800 plus
he was
votes.
the highest vote getter.
Highest vote getter.
That's right.
Why is he not being considered for the leader of the National Alliance?
His inexperience.
According to who?
His inexperience.
Yeah,
but the people out there.
But Sylvia Red Jacobs didn't have any experience either.
She came from education. For a while.
She went education, Parliament, minister. And then government fell. Then she was interim. Then she was re-elected. And then prime minister. So experience comes in time, and Minister Duran, I know for sure is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the Congress of the National Alliance that they plan on calling soon, I guess.
Because when I ask out there, when the topic comes up, they say, well, why didn't he get it? Because he's the biggest vote getter. I said, lack of experience.
Yeah, but
and he was young. You have to be groomed to get to take over as leader.
And that is what stopped Theo Heilige also from becoming leader for a long time, that he decided to start his own party. Because look, he was young, and look how many votes he was racking up.
Yes.
So, you see,
but that the leader wasn't going to let that seat go. You know that.
Yeah, well, up to now. No, but
I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much vote you get in. You could get 3 times as much.
Exactly.
Join the ride. But it's the same thing, Valerie. The National Alliance, just to deal with them, the infighting, but also having to clean up the image, and also what will they tell the electorate for this upcoming election season. I know they have their own information campaigns, and they're doing their own radio programs, and they, answering questions, but they really would have to convince people that, one, that they can go back in and be the biggest party, and two, that they can get the majority of all seats so that they can do it on their own. Yeah. Clearly, during the last election, they were given the highest votes during the last election, so you can say, okay, the majority of persons voted for them, so they wanted to see them. However, they didn't get enough to run by themselves, so they had to join with the up. When it comes to the up now.
No. Oh. Before we do that, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Minister of Education, Rudolph Samuel. All this week, all you're hearing about in the past couple of weeks, hearing about that there's infighting there, and his own party is asking him to resign because of the way he's been handling his portfolio since taking.
Yeah. I don't like, because the transparency that they continue to preach over and over, that no matter what, they're going to come and they're going to talk about things open and freely. And then when we ask the questions, because the rumors are out there, you get an answer from the Prime Minister that says the Council of Ministers works as a unit, and therefore that's all I'm going to say at this point. What does that even mean? And that is why I hammer on them on my show, because I feel like, you're taking us for a ride, and up to now, Minister Samuel hasn't said anything. And up to now, at least the members of parliament who support this minister haven't said anything. So, of course, they're not going to say anything because they're like, okay, it's a National Alliance problem, or you deal with that. UP had its own problems already. They ain't touching that. So when it comes to the infighting, and also this, supposed Minister Samuel has to resign from his position because they don't like the way he's handling it, we would not know until Minister Samuel comes and tells us, or the Prime Minister comes out and says, yes, we're not happy with his performance, we want him gone. So therefore, whether he's going to run with the National Alliance in the next elections is, I doubt
But there's
that.
a rumor, and I know, yes. I've heard a rumor. You want to divulge that rumor?
The rumor is that that Minister Samuel would, not retire and go with the Now party of Christophe Emmanuel, because he's like, come over, it's okay. National Alliance don't want you, we want you.
Yeah. Open arms.
Open arms. So, and it's good, Minister Samuel has been good for at least 200 plus votes for quite some time. Yeah,
Back then,
but still
is he still good for them?
You never know.
Because we still have the two schools that haven't even started groundbreaking to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
We still have our children
all over, scattered. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if we vote on issues on St. Maarten, Valerie, I would agree with you and say, okay, that might hurt him, but we vote based on who we like, who we don't like, who we think might do a good job. We don't look at what have they done, their track record, because the excuses that they have is always, I guess, acceptable to some, and people then vote for them again.
Well, they can't say they didn't have enough time this time.
Exactly.
This year, to get something accomplished.
Exactly.
But NRPB is pointing fingers at government, and government is pointing fingers at NRPB. So it's like, get your act together.
Yeah, but I don't understand why government is pointing the finger at NRPB, because NRPB is the only thing that's saving this government because of the amount of projects that they're paying for.
You're told that it's NRPB, there was a holdup, they had to go to them for the money.
Yeah, but bureaucracy is everywhere, so I don't understand.
Is anybody else from the National Alliance that you would say should stay home, or should resign, or should move, and should some new blood come into the National Alliance?
Then we're going to go into the whole whether we need experience or we need fresh blood. And then when we get fresh blood, people say, but look how the country is running now, and this is fresh blood, because we have a bunch of young ministers and we have no experience. But then experience is saying, oh, the youngsters don't know what to do. Let's go back in and show them how to do it. Let's re-energize. So for me, it's like a double-edged sword.
Right.
You never know. At the end of the day, for National Alliance, you have long-time members such as George Pantaflet, Hyacinth Richardson. They've been there for a while, and I'm like, okay, but when you gonna give somebody else a chance? But they still feel that they have a contribution to make. So I guess they continue it, and let's see how long the people will support them. But for now, they still receive over 100 votes, and clearly
that says something.
That says something. They have their core supporters, and people genuinely don't come out to vote. Last time we had about 51% of the voter turnout, which is amazing, because the last time before we had 49%.
Yeah.
So
people were they were protesting.
Yeah, there was why?
Exactly.
For how long?
Exactly.
Make it sense. Make it make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, UP.
They have some issues. I don't know where to begin.
Some?
Yeah, the leader for sure. That after the Krisha Heiliger, Maarten, the independent member, and now with the DP, decided to leave, I was like, okay, how are they going to come back? But they managed to come back. I think that MP Bryson should be thanking the good Lord for what I call the minister of everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly.
That's the only thing that's saving.
He's their saving grace. Huh?
He's the saving grace. But the only thing I don't like about how people judge the United People's Party is that to say that MP Bryson does not lead well is an unfair statement. The reason why I say that is because this is the same young man who has kept government together for the past 3.5 years. Let's not kid ourselves that MP Bryson is the one that cooked up this coalition agreement with National Alliance leader Sylvia Jacobs. And they have both kept one head for the past 3.5 years, no matter the fallouts. And MP Bryson saw things from before it happened and start to work behind the scenes to make sure that the support of MP Chanel Brownbill from the USP, the support of independent member Akeem Arinel was right there waiting when 2 members left the coalition, left them with 6. And look, boom, they get 8 right away, and they say government can continue. Whether war was given up, that's a different story, no problem. But the flack that MP Bryson gets is that he doesn't talk publicly much, and only when a scandal comes out is when he comes out and says, it wasn't me, I was nice, I worked, I did this, I did that, I tried. But yet, most amendments, most legislation that has been done over the past 3.5 years was done by MP Bryson. So that's the only thing that I always give him a hard time on my show, because I always call him the tallest member of parliament. But let's not, you have to give Jack his jacket. And look, Theo Heiliger is still a force to be reckoned with, and he is not even in politics. His wife is in politics. His wife was part of his party that he formed. MP Bryson, again, fired the woman. She then went independent and left the party, and now he has Theo Heiliger's party.
Thank you.
And he has 23.
Incredible, huh?
Like, not incredible, but
and
it's just...
And he's got 23 members.
And he got 23 members, and he got candidates that I hear you have a waiting list for the number of persons that want to join the UP, because they feel like, okay, now they feel like the Heiliger power, the Wati power is, not there anymore. And I'm like, are you forget who Omar related to? But okay, no problem. But in all seriousness, the UP, if you look at the list that they have, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for this next election. So I don't count them out yet, because some were saying, yeah, up is finished because, Theo is not supporting the party anymore. And I'm like, you don't mess with the minister of everything. Omar Otley has been performing since he became minister.
I
held
feel
2
over
portfolios.
and above.
Yeah, and people will then go, they will have to close their eyes and look for him, because they'll be like, okay, well, I don't really like the leader, but I like the fact that Minister Omar Otley is there, so I'll support him nevertheless. And in an interview with Minister Otley like 2 weeks ago, he said, listen, I think you need to remember that when my job was on the line for minister, the only person who had my back was my leader, MP Bryson.
Orlando, okay.
And he stood by me to get into his position of minister. And now, during this time, I'll stick with him also, for now.
Well, for that reason, I would say, okay, good. Kudos to him, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say...
At least he was being loyal.
And that's what he said.
And that...
Loyalty is everything for him.
It is,
And I do appreciate that, because in politics, there's no such thing.
Thank you.
Everything is cutthroat, Valerie.
There's a saying, Andrew, that politics makes for strange bedfellows.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised, yeah. That's why I always also say, never say never in politics.
Yeah.
Never say never.
True.
So those two, the 2 big parties are the ones on the stand to lose the most for the next elections. Because those 2 have to work very hard in order for them to go back in as a couple or go in single.
Right.
Now, of course, you have the Democratic Party.
Thank you.
Coming back.
Yes, let's talk about that one.
Yeah.
Very interesting, as they would say.
Very interesting. You have the DP that, MP Sarah Westcott Williams is...
The thing was, a few years ago, DP is dead.
Yeah.
Resurrected now.
Resurrected with the up. Then went back to DP. And, yeah.
Let's talk about those that are on board. That's surprising.
Not surprising, man.
No? No?
Because we just said it, politics makes strange bedfellows. So at the end of the day, MP Helga Maarten was involved in when her husband was with the Democratic Party. She saw how they treated him. He started his own party, 2010. He got a majority also. And then at the end of it, look, he then left, came back, left, and then came back again. So for me, it's going to be interesting to watch. But don't count them out, because the Democratic Party has been very quiet these days when it comes to the candidates. Only Krisha Helga Maarten and Sarah Westcott Williams are the ones that are saying that,
So they haven't announced anymore?
They haven't announced other candidates like the other parties. The other parties, you would see some are saying, okay, this is where people are going. This is how, they go into the Democratic Party. But they always come with some surprise, and never count out DP boy, because every time you say they're dead, they either come with, they went for the biggest party to the smallest party, but they're still there.
They're still there, exactly.
1, 2, 3, we'll take it.
Yes.
That's their attitude, I noticed. But let's see, because Krisha Helga Maarten, she's also good with promotions.
Yeah, that is her field.
That's her field, the marketing. So she's been instrumental in the painting this whole place green during the past years when, her husband was the leader. So maybe she might do it with DP. Depends on how good these fundraisers are. I noticed they're selling everything: cars, beach days, prizes, all kind of things.
Yeah, a little meme on where she wants to be leader.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Do you think that will ever happen?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
You like to throw things out there.
No,
They really get people thinking.
Yeah, I want people to think, because I've, I think she was on the Breakfast Club when MP Sarah Westcott Williams said, passing the mantle. What do you mean passing the mantle? I don't believe in that. I believe in, DP is going to be DP. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So, and of course, and I saw MP Krisha Heliger's face because I was watching it on Facebook, and I was to myself, I bet she's thinking like, but why not me? Because I'm young, I'm there,
Yes.
I just arrived.
Exactly.
It looked like I want to do this. But don't count out Theo yet, because as much as how many cases he have and
Pending.
convictions and how much time he got to go jail, you could keep somebody in jail for so long.
Over so long, right?
So I doubt he's retired.
He didn't get a life sentence.
No. So whether he
So-
stays out for 10 years,
I'll tell you
5
something about
years,
St. Martin people, they give you that sympathy vote, huh?
Ooh,
They're good at giving you
we
that
know
sympathy
about
vote.
that.
Okay,
We
okay.
know. DP have lived off of that sympathy vote.
There you go.
I remember
There
that. So DP will have to wait and see. PFP is also a force to be reckoned with.
I got a surprise recently.
party, boy.
I got
Yeah.
a surprise recently.
Ludmina De Weaver
That's right.
joined the PFP, Party for Progress. Not surprised.
No?
But surprised
I was
because
surprised.
everybody
Why
thought
weren't
she
you
was going
surprised?
DP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you saw the hints on the way that she handled herself in Parliament, the couple past meetings, and she's been, outspoken, just like the PFP. And
But I like her. I like her.
Yeah.
She worked hard when she was there, I think she set herself, she has a track record, and I like what she did with tourism,
Nah,
She got, no? You know what
I-
she did with tourism?
I know. Because she quit.
Right. Well, yeah, but when she was there,
yeah, but
then you don't
no.
quit.
Then you don't quit.
But it
Don't
was,
quit on the people.
But you know what happened
Yeah.
and why.
Okay.
She was getting beat up
I guess.
with the airport,
Yes.
and after
So,
that, it
so
was
then
like,
you leave to go beat up on the same airport when you could have fixed it yourself. To me, I understand how politics works. So I get that if the heats get too hot in the kitchen, get out.
yeah.
But in a political appointment type of situation, I feel like it's do or die. You do it.
But that's
or
it.
you
Some
leave.
people feel that, listen, this really isn't worth it. You're going to kill me, and I'm just going to
Yeah.
step aside and
Yeah, but
go
then
for
step
where
aside.
I was actually elected to be.
Yes, and then leave again. Come on, Valerie. You got
Hey, you have to
elected.
admire her for making the move. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
She followed her whether it's her mind, her
which
thought,
move?
or her
Which
heart.
move? The second one or the third one? But I understand.
Listen, while she was there, I liked what she did.
Yeah.
Okay?
She spoke out.
She spoke out, and I think she got the ships to come back, the cruise ships to come back, and, and...
Parliament is about legislating, and I will always stick.
No, I'm
stick
talking about
to
when she
that.
was minister.
Oh, when she was
When she was
minister.
minister.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, when she
Okay.
was minister. She worked, but there's just too much happening at the time. That's all.
I guess so. That's-
Okay, tell
yeah.
me more about PFP.
Melissa Gomes,
Yes.
of course.
Another one I like.
Yeah,
Another one
she's,
I like.
Very outspoken.
Yes.
And I think that the party has grown over the years, and adding the Weaver to it is a good move for the PFP. I'm also hearing that they're trying to lure in Ludmila Duncan in the mix also,
okay.
and then you'll have 4 MPs on their list. They've done.
Do you think the vote getters?
No, but they get votes. I mean, that's the most I could say. St. Martin people have been very forgiving. So I think they would have to then look at what the PFP has done and what the independent persons that have joined this party has also done in the short time that they has been in Parliament, well, for the term.
Okay.
We normally do not support ship jumpers, but I think MP Chanel Brownbill will disagree and say, yes, they do, because
Look where I am.
look where I am. I've been, but it's only because of a default, because MP Boncampo got suspended,
Right.
and then MP Brownbill had to come into the government. So, again, we get into these technicalities, and I cannot take a politician serious with less than 100 votes, and they tell me they're representing the people. I can't take them as at a score like, no, actually, you're representing 60 people, but okay, I understand. I understand. Most of these parliamentarians who end up going independent and costing the country so much money, Valerie, it's ridiculous, but that's the law that we have. And then to say that they're taking the seat and they're going somewhere else, or
Yes.
I
yes,
can't,
yes.
I get like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And these are parliamentarians, and I said that yesterday on my show. I was like, wait a minute. So Omar Otley decided not to take his seat, to go to Parliament, and then somebody else got a chance to represent him, or represent his votes, at least, and their votes in Parliament, and they just up and leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Cut your foot.
It's like they earned it.
They earned it.
You didn't earn it.
No,
You didn't earn it.
no.
And
Like
they want
the
to
only
leave,
people-
leave, but leave the seat behind.
Yeah, and even MP Minister Doran, when he says, I was elected, yeah, you were, but you didn't get a seat by yourself. You get a collective number of votes that has to come to a certain amount in order for you to get a seat in Parliament, and then you told them, no, you don't want it because you want to become a minister. So then the person next to you or under you who has less votes than you gets that
Gets that
position,
position,
to
gets that
appoint
seat.
you as the minister. But let's not get things mixed up. You refused the first thing because they wanted you in Parliament. They didn't vote for you to become a
Exactly,
minister.
yeah,
They voted for you to become a parliamentarian. It's a parliamentary election.
Election.
Why people telling me that they want to fix roads? We're like, wait, how? Which law?
But talking about roads, speaking about roads, I don't know whether because it's an election year or whether because the king and the royal family was coming.
Both.
But
You just
okay,
answered
so it was
me.
2 for 1.
Both
Okay.
of them.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm glad.
Me too.
Because we needed them. We
King should
needed
come
those
every year.
repairs.
The king
Yeah.
should come every year.
I
come
said the
come
same
around
thing. Yes,
November every
yes,
year.
Yes.
We have a
yes.
good time, and then people go pay their road tax,
Yeah.
which they need because to maintain the roads. That's another different story.
Yeah.
But I guess it's going to be an interesting silly season.
USP, are they anywhere in the running?
No.
Okay, they've just hung everything up.
Okay, let me not be so harsh, because this is the first time that we have a new leader of the USP, Ms. Pamela Gordon-Carty. She is no stranger to politics. However, she is, because she never ran before. She was appointed as a minister.
Right.
And then, of course, that didn't last too long. And then MP Franz Richardson decided to leave. And then after he wasn't elected, and then changed the guard at the USP, and now you have new candidates mixed with some of the old ones. And the reason why I say that they would have to work hard, or that they're not in the running yet, is because they have been doing their own type of weird campaign for some reason that I think it's like American based for some reason, because I seen it a lot on Facebook and they're breaking the cycle, and I was like, wait, what cycle? You just started. What cycle? Which cycle you're breaking? But they're doing things different, so I guess that's what they mean. So I don't see them in the running as yet, especially since they haven't been. They've been doing their own type of information campaign as far as the way they are going to run their campaign. So I can't say too much to how, but I don't see them in the running as yet. The USP is going to have to work hard because they need a good number of candidates that will have to really sell the party to the population. And just having a colleague, Gromiko Wilson, there screaming at you every week, it's not enough, so
Right.
they have some work cut out for them.
What about URSM?
That's going to be interesting because I noticed that USM managed to get one other party out of the race, the PPA, because we heard that Gracita Arenal, the leader of the PPA, has now gone to the USM. And it's kind of interesting because first, when PPA came out, they always said, there was going to be PPA no matter what. And then they went and joined with the UP.
Right.
And then she was elected. She was also elected during the PPA stint. But then, ever since then, she went back to PPA. She haven't received enough votes to get back in under the PPA. So she would have to now explain, one, why she left the PPA again, and then joined USM. That's going to be an interesting sell, and I can't wait to hear it. Because I got some tapes. I want to hear you now, this time again, telling me why you left, what you went back to, and now you left. And like, okay. So USM is some interesting, you have the doctor, who once upon a time, Dr. Messalina was good for a good 500 something votes.
Yes.
But that dropped drastically.
I
But
think
now,
when he fired Emily,
yeah,
that really
yeah. The
knocked him
supporters,
out.
the supporters didn't like that apparently.
So he decided to start the URSM.
Yeah.
And how many people are on there?
He have a number of persons. Got Junior Rolex, Rolex.
Oh, Rolex Jr.
Rolex Jr.
Yeah,
he's
Rolex
there also.
Okay. I forgot he's there. Yeah.
Yeah. You have Prince Herbert Martina.
Okay.
He's also on the list. Miss Brenda Brooks is also the president of the board.
Right.
She says she's not running, but
She's
you
not
never
running.
know.
Okay.
So you never know. They have
Not
some
count them out.
contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have a weekly
But they're
program
new.
as well. Yeah.
And they have a weekly, you notice that these political parties are getting smart about it. They try to get us out of this job, having their own political shows, but
They're
it's only
following
comes.
suit like the National Alliance or SPM or SPA,
Yeah.
where they have Sound of the Shell with
Oh,
Vance
yes.
James.
Yes.
You remember that? Vance James Jr.? Yeah, so they've got a whole, how many more months? 9 months?
For 9 months, it's going to be a carnival by itself.
Yeah, I'm
It's going to
telling
be
you.
a carnival by itself.
I'm telling you.
Information campaigns are starting, and I noticed that most of them are going to the social media. But I really want the parties to know one thing, social media is not a real place. Stop focusing only on social media because,
Thank you.
people still do the conventional television, still do the
Yes.
conventional
Radio.
newspaper. The radio is still very much important.
Very, very much.
So stop thinking that people have time to always go on their phone
Thank you.
and look at your message on Facebook. They're watching other things. They ain't watching you.
Thank you, exactly. Any other new parties?
Yes, the Now Party is also in effect with
Christophe
MP
Emmanuel.
Christophe Emmanuel and
And
suspended
Claudius
member
Boncamper.
Claudius Boncamper. And then that's it. That's the
That's
only
it.
two that we're hearing. Just like
now.
BP for
Yeah,
now.
for now.
But they have announced some new faces, fresh faces. I see a number of professionals, like the police union, even throwing the president
Their
of the police
hat into
union,
the ring?
their hat in the
Really?
ring. Yeah, with the
Really?
USM, Mauricia. He's
Okay.
running with the USM also. So that's going to be
Really?
interesting. That's why he's quiet now, because he doesn't want to make it political.
And another thing, it's kind of early. We are accustomed of the last maybe 4 months.
3 months.
3,
to
4
hear the-
months.
Yeah,
so
but that's
they
why.
think
That's
they have
why.
all this time, but time is running, huh?
But that's why I told you in the beginning.
Yeah.
That is why I started
Yeah.
off early,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I want to give everyone
An
enough time
opportunity
to
come
lie
in
to
and,
them.
yeah.
To lie to the voting
to the
population.
public.
Yeah, because when they get in, it's let's sit in the room and see how we can get this going. How can I be part of the power? I'm just
Andrew,
joking.
let's talk. Best party ever, in your opinion. Who was the best party ever?
Oh, you catch me off guard with that. I always is the worst party
Okay,
ever.
let's go to this one.
Yes.
Who was the best government ever? That you can remember.
No, I remember all of them from 10, 10, 10.
No, even before that.
Even before that?
Even before that. Even before that.
Oh,
Because we had a
Lord,
conversation.
Valerie. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. You can say it.
DP.
When?
When DP was DP.
Okay.
You know, because, you know, they were like-minded persons and they had real leadership. And even if the infighting was there, it was done behind closed door, even though we heard most of it underneath the tamarind tree.
Yeah.
But most of it was like, you know what, they're sticking together no matter what. And we would be like, they're really holding hands, Valerie? Like, we know that they don't like each other. They're really holding hands.
Yep.
You know, it was more informative, and it was also the governing was actually like, it was decent.
Okay.
To what we are getting now.
So let's flip it over. Worst party ever.
I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but I like trouble.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. You know, I have to give it to the USP, right? The USP.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because they've managed to be a political force to be reckoned with.
Exactly.
In the beginning. And end up losing every single person that they've given an opportunity to. Well, I should say most given to. So, to me, you know, they're the biggest loser.
Yeah.
You know, and look, USP received 2 seats in this current election period. And they have no representative for the whole 4 years. So now you would have to go to the electorate and tell them that yes, USP was in government, but they wasn't in government because what happened was we had 2 members and they left us. And then after they left us, somebody else came in that we didn't like, that was on our list, and we expelled him, but he still continued representing us in the parliament until the end of the term. How do you explain that to a voter? If you hear this, you'll be like, and you want me to vote for you again?
Yeah.
They have a tough road ahead.
Who do you wish would run that haven't really thrown or even raised there, but who you think would be a good candidate in government?
You know, I am one of those people that believe that professionals that have the qualifications to run the ministries. After covering the news for so many years in St. Maarten, you know, I feel so old now, almost 20 years. I feel like that we need more of a professional running the government operations and leave the politicians do the politicking. Oftentimes, what happens is when these professionals come into politics, they feel like they have to be a politician, and then they forget that they need to manage people. They need to be good at managing. You know, leave the policy for the policy advisors, and then, you know, you put in your 2 cents after. But oftentimes they feel like they need to do everything themselves, and that's where they get themselves in trouble, Valerie. So for me, you know, I don't have a specific person, but I feel like professionals should be given the opportunity to do the ministering, and then parliamentarians should be the politicians to either cover the backs of the minister and let the minister work instead of having to out fires and having to deal with the politics side of being a minister.
Do you think that ministers should have less portfolios?
Hell yeah. Listen, I never could understand how Minister of Tourism, a tourism destination, has Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transportation, Telecommunication.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
and they're full portfolios. How can you dedicate your time?
Like, wait, what?
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Economic Affairs? How? Where? And it's not with finance?
Yeah.
Who made up these portfolios, Valerie?
Finally, we've got 30 seconds.
Okay.
Who needs a prayer and a wish?
Oh, St. Maarten, for getting these people back in every single time. Yes, please. Guys, stop, pray, and please, elect persons that can do a good job. Don't just go based on your family or somebody that you like because they look good and they sound good and they speak well and they stand good and.
But it's a start. You have to look good and speak well and it'll be convincing.
Yeah.
But you also need to get the work done.
The work done, and that's what I wanted to hear. All of those other things you can fall short of for me, but at least be effective. And we've seen some of the politicians being able to do that, but politics is always going to be an interesting field.
Andrew, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
I look forward to having you back.
Oh yes, I mean, I wanted.
We've got a whole 9 months.
We got 9 months, and of course the voters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Val.
And with that, everyone, we've come to the end of the program. My guest today was Mr. Andrew Dick. He's host of the Andrew Dick Show, which can be seen online. Late Night Show. I'm sorry, Andrew Dick Late Night Show. That's right. And I want to thank you for joining me. So until next time, and I'll be back with another informative program. Do enjoy the rest of your evening from all of us here at PGD2, 1300 AM, PGD3, 102.7 FM, the voice of St. Maarten. Bye-bye now.